Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Nielsen Networking video. In the video ahead, I'm going to go over what I consider to be some of the power tools or power features of Kali Linux and VirtualBox. And often these tools are either overlooked, maybe they're not known about, or maybe they're just ignored, due to not understanding what they actually do or what they can do for your VirtualBox installation or your Kali Linux operating system. Um, so what we're going to do is we're going to cover them both at the same time. And the reason for that is because I actually use VirtualBox as my virtualization platform, and I have a Kali virtual machine inside it. And kind of aligning with that, we actually did a video not that long ago where we go over installing VirtualBox first, then we install Kali Linux inside of VirtualBox. So I thought it would make sense to that, and it could kind of be a follow-up to that to fine-tune those installations now that they're in complete sync and everything's good. So with that said, why don't we get to the video? Okay, and we're going to start off on the VirtualBox side of things. So I'm going to go ahead and open up VirtualBox here. And what we're going to do is, before we get into anything in our Kali Linux, we're going to do what is called taking a snapshot. Now, what a snapshot is, it is an image of the operating system in that moment, meaning I'm going to take it now. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to the actual virtual machine, and you're going to go to the machine menu here, and you're going to go take snapshot. And I am going to name this before install htop. And that will make sense later in the video. So now we've done that, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and I'm going to install htop. To do that, it's pretty basic actually. We're just going to go up, we're going to go up here, and we're going to do htop. And it's going to say, you want to install it, you don't have it, and I'm going to hit yes. And it's going to ask me for my password. I'm going to go ahead and put that in, and it's going to download, and it's going to install htop. Now, if you don't know what htop is, it's a newer, more powerful, better looking version of the standard Linux top, Unix top, which looks like this. That's top. That's standard in all Linux releases or distributions. And htop is going to look like this. As you can see, there's a lot more to it. We'll go over that in a minute, but I just wanted to show you now that is installed, right? Okay, that's great. So now what we're going to do is we're actually going to restore from before I installed that. So what we're going to do is you do have to shut down the virtual machine. So I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. And then what you do is you click here, you go to Snapshots, and you're going to click on Before Install, and we're going to hit Restore. And then you're going to uncheck this option here because you don't need a second. You could leave this if you keep this checked, what it does is it keeps both restore points. So you could actually go back to before it was installed, htop was installed, and then you could actually restore back to when it was installed. I don't want to do that. I'm just going to get rid of it because we're going to install htop later. So I'm just going to uncheck this and hit restore. And then you're going to go up here and you're going to want to hit delete to get rid of that snapshot. So now you have no snapshots. And when we go over here and we start up the virtual machine, the Kali machine here, and it completes the boot up process and we go in, I'll show you that it is no longer installed. So now if we go htop, oh, can't find it because guess what? It's not installed anymore because we restored to that state before we installed it. So I think you see how this can be powerful. You could do this before you update Kali Linux. You could do this before you install, the Tor browser or anything. It's just a safety net to say, whoops, I screwed up. I can always go back. It's very similar to the time machine technology if you've ever used that inside of the Mac. It's probably the same underline. It's probably rsync underneath it or something similar. But anyway, that is going to be what snapshots are. And those are very powerful. And I would seriously do that as soon as you get a VirtualBox infrastructure set up and you get a virtual machine inside that infrastructure, take a snapshot of it. Hardly takes any space and it will save your butt on time and just headaches. So again, that is what a snapshot is. Okay, and sticking with VirtualBox power tools and features, next we're going to enable the shared clipboard and drag and drop features. If you look now, if we were to reduce this down. Actually, here, let's do that just in case that were to cause a problem. And I try to copy this over here, I get denied, right? I can't do it. Bummer. But if we were to go here and go to virtual machine and go to settings and under general go to advanced, and these are both disabled by default, don't ask me why, but what we want to do is change these to bidirectional and then hit OK. And sometimes I do have to reboot to get this to stick, but sometimes I don't, so let's see if we get lucky. Doesn't look like we're going to get lucky. So I'm going to go ahead and reboot real quick. Okay, and we're back in, and I'm going to go ahead and get that out of the way, close that out of the way, and go back over here. Whoops, where'd my desktop go? And now I'm going to try to drag it over. And as you can see, it comes over with no problem. So if you do run into that trouble where it won't let you drag and drop it over, just go ahead and reboot the virtual machine with the settings enabled. And that's that for shared clipboard and drag and drop. So for the last VirtualBox power tool and feature, we're going to enable shared folders. Now I know you're thinking, well, you can drag and drop. Why do you need a shared folder? Well, what if you just want to have like a shared area where you can have multiple files, and you can do this for multiple VMs. It doesn't just have to be for the Kali Linux. You can have the shared Windows folder for the Windows host, which is hosting the VirtualBox, which is hosting Kali Linux and all my other VMs. You can have that folder shared on all the VMs at the same time. So they're all sharing the same shared Windows folder. Now say that 10 times fast. But you'll get what I mean here in a minute. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Machine, and we're going to go to Settings, and we're going to go to Shared Folders. And we're going to do New, and you're going to go ahead and browse to it. I went ahead and had already created this ahead of time, so I created a shared folder on my desktop and one for Linux. So this would be for all my shared Linux virtual machines. I'm going to hit Select Folder, and then you just leave the folder name as Linux, and then the mount point, I am going to put this under, and you can put this anywhere in Linux you want it. I'm going to put it under MNT because that's where they should go. If you're mounting an external volume, that's where it would go. And then I'm just going to do shared. And then you want to have it auto mount, and you want to make it permanent. So hit OK, hit OK. And now, if we come back over here, and we go to cdmnt, look at that, there's a shared folder there. Now we need to check the rights on this thing because we may not have the rights to get in, but let's try it. And we do. Very cool. Now let's see if it actually works. So let's just create a simple folder or a file here. Testing 2. So we have 2 files there. And then if we go to our Windows machine, we go to shared, we go to Linux, and look, there they are. So let's go ahead and delete them. And then let's go ahead and create a new text document here called From Windows. And then if we get out of here, go back to Kali Linux and do ls, look at that. There's the file. So this is really, really helpful, especially if you're moving multiple things at once, or you don't want to drag and drop. Or you could just, like what I do is I use it for a shared toolkit, if you will. I have a bunch of scripts and things like that that I share amongst my Linux VMs in my production environment, not in the lab. So it's very useful for that. So that's going to be the last VirtualBox power tool or features. And now we're going to get into the Kali Linux. So first thing I am going to do, though, before we mess with our Kali Linux install is, you guessed it, I'm going to get out and take a snapshot. So what we're going to do is we're going to go here, and I'm going to go ahead and take a snapshot here, and I'm going to just name this, whoops, before changes. And I'm going to hit OK. This way, if we do happen to have an issue with anything we're going to do from here on out, I will be able to restore and no harm will have come to my Kali Linux machine. So you probably will want to do this if you're kind of following along with what I'm doing. I would suggest you do the same and take a snapshot. So let's get into the Kali Linux part. Okay, assuming this is a fresh Kali Linux install or a semi-fresh Kali Linux install, first thing I like to do is go ahead and change my root password. And to do that, you're going to type in sudo password or passwd root, or if you didn't want to, if this was just changing a regular user, you would just, whatever the username is, I want to change root because that is the default. And anyone who knows Kali Linux out there can go out and Google what is the default root password for Kali Linux, and they would know this password. So it's kind of like leaving your router at home with the default password. Back in the day, everyone knew it was password. So I'm going to go ahead and change this. And it's going to ask me for my password for this user. And then this is the new password for root. So don't lose this. And it's going to make me confirm. And there you go. Now your root password is not the standard default Kali Linux root password. So that is critical to do. I would do that first thing before we even get to anything else. I know there's other people that say, well, we should do this, we should do that first. Change the root password first because honestly, that's something you might forget. You could go through, get all these updates, get everything all set up, you're out on the internet, and you have like such a major weakness that might get overlooked for years. So change it first. Okay, and assuming this is a fresh install or it's just good practice before we do anything else, we're going to want to update to the most current release. And to do that, again, we're going back to our terminal and we're going to do a sudo and we're going to do apt and we're just going to type in update. Straightforward, right? And there it goes. And it's going to go ahead and download all the updates. So I will come back when that is done. Okay, and all the files have been updated. So I'm going to go ahead and clear the screen there. Next thing we're going to want to do is update our repository file, which is where it goes out and it finds our updates from. So to do that, we're going to go ahead and type in, here it is, vi etc apt sources list. And what we're going to want to do is, I'm using VI. You could use Nano. You could use any web, or not web browser, text editor you wanted. I'm old school. I like VI. It works for me. So what I'm going to do here is see the second line. I'm going to go ahead and delete that. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to do a colon with a W and a Q to write and quit. And now we're done there. Pretty simple. So let's move on. Next thing I wanted to do was change the desktop settings. And what I'm going to do is I want to put my logo on here, right? So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to right click this. I'm going to do set as wallpaper. Boom, that is obnoxiously large. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and do my desktop settings. Oh, and by the way, I'm doing this by right clicking. Desktop settings. And I am, instead of having this zoomed in, I'm going to have it centered. And then I'm going to change these to black. And hopefully that's a little easier on the eyes. Then I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of that. And there I am. I'm looking much better. If you wanted to go back in there to the desktop settings, there's a couple other things you could do in there. You could go to the icons. You can make them bigger. I don't need to do that. I'm not that old yet. I'm getting there. You could change the, if you didn't want any, you could minimize them. You could go through there. You can actually enable it to have like a Mac where it's, where is it? Single click. If you wanted to, you could go ahead and click that there. And then you could take off some of the default icons if you wanted to. I'm just going to leave them. I don't really mess with the settings on the desktop or anything like that. I just wanted to change the background to show you how to change the background. And then next thing, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and install a better version of the terminal. So to do that, we are going to do sudo apt, and we're going to do install. And I think this is how you spell it, Tilix. And we're gonna just cross your fingers this works. Oh, it did, sweet. Okay, so it's asking me, do I wanna do this? I'm gonna hit yes. It's gonna go ahead and download these for me. And we're gonna wait a second. Okay, and what this is saying is it's going to, it's gonna restart services or package during the package installation. So just go ahead and hit yes. And this is actually, it's like, they call it a multiplexer. I never really understood why. It just allows you to have multiple terminals open within the same terminal. Okay, let's check it out. And so what you do is you'd go up here, you type in Tilix, and here you go. And by the way, while we're here, If you're enjoying this video, please smash that like button. We're a newer channel and we're just trying to get some likes. Even better yet, we would love to have you as a subscriber so you can see our future content. That's my shameless plug. So let's move on with this here. And okay, so we're in Tilix now, and what this allows you to do is you can create multiple versions of it, and then you can go over here and you can kind of see them. But you can also do this where you could click here and you have it below you. You can do 4 of them, or you could put some on the side here. And let's say you wanted to move this one, you could drag it up here, and you wanted to get rid of one. So you could do like, let's say you wanted to cat the group file. And then down here, you wanted to ping Google for fun. And then down here, you wanted to look up Ford.com. Apparently that is not the command I wanted. You get the point. You can do multiple things at once. Kind of cool, right? And then when you're done, you can just close out one terminal at a time and then get out of it when you're done. So that is Tilix. It's a pretty powerful, pretty cool version of the terminal. Okay, next thing we want to do is we want to go back and install htop like we started with for the snapshot test. So I'm just going to type in htop. It's going to say, do you want to do it again? I'm going to say yes, and it wants my password, and we're going to go ahead and install it pretty quick, and we're good there. And if we do htop, you can see it's running here. And it has pretty much the same functionality as top. It's just a lot more user friendly. It's a lot easier on the eyes. And I'm not going to go into all the how to and all that, but you can just kind of take it by a look. By looking at it, you can see versus this how it's nicer to look at, and it's easier kind of to read out the important items. So it's great to have, especially if you wanted to, real quickly find what was taking, the most memory. You can go in here and look right here and see, obviously it's root and it's Xorg, which is actually our our virtual desktop. So we don't want to kill that, but if you needed to kill one, you can actually find the one you want and you can kill it through here by hitting F9. We're not going to do that, but you could. So I'm going to go ahead and you can hit F10 to quit out of here, or you can just do a Control C. I'm just going to do a Control C because that's how I kill everything. And last thing we're going to do, we are actually going to go ahead and we're going to install the Tor browser. So let's get to that. And to do that, we are going to go to our terminal, which I'm already at, and we're going to type in sudo, because we have to have sudo, because we need admin rights. Just in case you always wonder what is sudo, sudo is the equivalent of like right-clicking in Windows and doing run as admin. That's pretty much what it does. It like imitates you as a root user. So we're going to go ahead, where was I? apt install, and then we want to go with tor, and then we're going to go to Tor Browser launcher, and then we need a -y there. And if I type that correctly, we're going to be good. And the reason you'd want to use the Tor browser is because it actually is completely private and you do not get tracked. I know there's all this, in the news, you hear everything horrible about the Tor browser and the onion router and all this stuff. But the bottom line is if you really are using Kali Linux, you're probably wanting to have that mindset anyway. You care about your privacy and, and you just want to be using what, the people out there that you're trying to learn to protect against are going to be using. So the more you use the tools, the bad guys are going to be, the threat actors out there, the better off you're going to be to understand what they're doing. So to use this, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go up here and we're going to type in Tor. And we're going to go ahead here and open it up. And it's going to download the browser for the first time and any special packages or additional packages, I should say. It's not loading some kind of payload on your Kali Linux system here. This is all standard, I promise you. So I'll let this load. And it's going to finish up here. And here we go. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to need this to route the traffic over the Tor network. And if you don't, you will be able to be tracked. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and click connect. And it's going to say establishing connection. And we're going to wait a second. And it's now connected. So what we would want to do now is we would want to go check it. So what you can do is here, let me show you. We go there and go to check.torproject.org, I think it is, Tor project. And we're going to wait here a second. And congratulations, this is configured for use. It says what our IP appears to be, and we're good to go there. And that is how you would install the Tor browser. So I think I'm going to end it on there. There are a few other little things you could do, like you could get the Git repository if you needed to. You could install programming languages. I don't need any of those. If you do, you can go out and get them. You could probably Google and find how to do it, or but if you needed help, throw it in the comments. I do read those and do try to reply. It's pretty basic to go out and get those, but that's going to do it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. These are some actual powerful power tools and features that will make your Kali Linux experience smoother and also safer. You have a snapshot. So if let's say this Tor browser blew up everything, we could then go back and restore from that snapshot and we'd be back right in business. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I would appreciate a like. The spiel. I'm sure you've heard it on YouTube. Like, subscribe. Subscribers would be huge for us. We're getting a lot of video like traffic, people watching our video, but we're not getting too many subscribers, and we would love to have you subscribe so you can see our future content. And the plans in the future include, more Linux videos, Kali Linux videos, Ubuntu, maybe some Red Hat. And I love Linux, so all things Linux, and we'll get into using those Kali Linux tools. We'll go through all of the different security tools there, and we'll practice using them in our lab. So have a great day. Enough of that, and I'll talk to you later. Thank you.